What if I told you there are temples so forbidden, so sacred that stepping inside could cost you your life? Locked vaults sealed for centuries, chambers hidden deep within pyramids, shrines guarded by gods and curses alike. These are the forbidden temples humanity was never meant to enter, and tonight we open their secrets. The forbidden mystery: there are doors in history we were never meant to open. Silent gates, sealed chambers, and sacred halls that whisper a warning across centuries. Keep out. And yet, the forbidden calls to us. From the deserts of Egypt to the dense jungles of India, humanity has erected temples not only to worship gods but to protect secrets so dangerous, so sacred, or so incomprehensible that generations risked their lives to guard them. But what exactly lies inside these temples that has kept them sealed away for centuries? Is it faith or fear? Are these temples sacred sanctuaries meant to protect humanity from divine wrath, or prisons built to contain something far darker? Tonight we step beyond the threshold. These are the forbidden temples humanity was never meant to enter. The first stop takes us to India, to the dazzling and terrifying Padmanabhaswamy Temple in the state of Kerala. At first glance, this temple looks like many others in South India: tall golden towers shimmering in the sun, intricately carved walls, and corridors echoing with the sound of chants. It's a place of worship, a holy site dedicated to Vishnu. But underneath the sanctity lies something else, something that has earned it the title of the world's most mysterious temple. Beneath Padmanabhaswamy are a series of vaults. For centuries they were sealed, their existence whispered about but never touched. In 2011, when some of these vaults were finally opened, what the world saw was beyond comprehension. Mountains of treasure gold coins, diamond-studded jewelry, solid gold idols amounting to billions of dollars in value. It was as if the temple was hiding the wealth of a lost empire. But one vault remained sealed. Vault B. The door is heavy, fortified, and decorated with carvings of serpents. Legends claim that if it's opened, disaster will strike. Priests insist that the vault is protected by a curse, sealed shut not by locks but by mystical power. Attempts to open it have failed, and some believe that those who force it will awaken something mankind should never disturb. Think about that. In our modern world of technology and science, there exists a temple chamber so feared that even billion-dollar treasure seekers, politicians, and archaeologists dare not enter. What could be inside? Ancient weapons? Sacred relics? Or something darker, something not meant for human eyes? Padmanabhaswamy raises the first question in our journey: were these temples built to honor the gods? Or to keep humanity away from secrets that could unravel everything? And this is only the beginning. From the golden halls of India, our path now winds to another forbidden place, this time in Japan, where entry is so restricted that only a handful of people alive have ever seen what lies inside. The eternal secrecy of Japan's Eyes Grand Shrine of Padmanabhaswamy is a temple guarded by curses and treasure. Then Japan's Eyes Grand Shrine is one guarded by silence. In fact, this is perhaps the most secretive religious site on earth, one that has stood for centuries, yet remains almost completely unseen. Located in Mie Prefecture, surrounded by dense forest, the Eyes Grand Shrine is the holiest Shinto site in Japan. From the outside, you might think you could simply visit and take a look, but the truth is, you can't. Ordinary people, tourists, even most priests, will never see its inner sanctum. Only the high priest or priestess of the shrine, traditionally chosen from the Japanese imperial family, is allowed inside. For everyone else, the view ends at tall wooden fences. Imagine traveling across the world to see one of humanity's most sacred temples, only to be stopped at a simple gate, told that what lies inside is not for your eyes. No photos, no blueprints, no details. What makes it even more mysterious is that the shrine is torn down and rebuilt every 20 years in a ritual called Shikinen Sengyu for over 1,300 years. This cycle has continued, destroying and recreating the shrine in perfect secrecy, as if to ensure no outsider ever uncovers what lies within. So what could possibly demand such secrecy? Some say the shrine holds the sacred mirror of Amaterasu, one of the 3 imperial regalia of Japan. According to legend, this mirror was used to lure the sun goddess Amaterasu from her cave, bringing light back to the world. It is said to embody truth itself, an object so holy it cannot be gazed upon. Others believe there's more. Ancient artifacts of divine origin. Sacred scrolls carrying secrets of Japan's earliest gods, or perhaps something never meant for human understanding. Think of the contrast here. In a world where everything is photographed, shared, and revealed online, eyes remains hidden, untouchable, unknowable. Even aerial photography reveals only roof, never the heart of the shrine. It is a temple not built for worshippers, but for silence. And maybe in that silence lies the power. Because mystery has its own kind of gravity. The less we know, the more we imagine. And eyes thrives on that tension, keeping us locked outside its gates for eternity. But as we leave Japan's forest behind, our path grows darker. Because not all forbidden temples are sealed by faith and tradition. Some are guarded by forces far more primal, forces of nature itself. In the heart of Egypt, where sandstorms bury secrets and the desert swallows history whole, there lies another enigma, a place connected to one of the most iconic monuments of all time. A temple not beneath but beside the Great Sphinx of Giza for centuries. The Sphinx has crouched on the Giza Plateau, staring into the horizon. But ancient texts and archaeological whispers hint at something beneath it, an underground temple, a hidden chamber, perhaps even a library of knowledge predating Egyptian civilization itself. What makes this temple so forbidden isn't tradition or priestly law, it's suppression. Every attempt to probe beneath the Sphinx is met with resistance. Some say it's because authorities want to preserve the monument. Others whisper it's because the truth hidden there would rewrite history. Imagine if beneath the Sphinx lies proof that an advanced civilization existed thousands of years before Egypt, builders whose knowledge of astronomy and engineering rivaled or even surpassed our own. Such a revelation would shatter everything we believe about human history. And so the temple beneath the Sphinx remains sealed, guarded not by curses, but by silence and authority. Humanity peers at the paws of the Sphinx, knowing something waits beneath, yet never allowed to descend into its shadows. The forbidden takes many forms: wealth locked away, secrets guarded by gods, mysteries swallowed by sand. But each temple whispers the same truth: some doors are meant to remain closed. Still, curiosity drives us forward, because if Egypt holds forbidden chambers of stone, then in the jungles of Cambodia, there are temples that seem to blur the line between human construction and something almost unnatural. Cambodia's enigmatic Angkor on the living forbidden mountain of Greece, the jungle, has a way of hiding what it wants to keep. Vines coil around stone, roots pierce through walls, and entire cities vanish beneath green canopies. One of the most breathtaking and baffling examples of this is Angkor Wat, Cambodia's sprawling temple, complex, the largest religious monument in the world. Tourists flood the outer temples every year, marveling at the towers rising like lotus buds, the endless carvings depicting gods and demons. But behind the scenes, Angkor Wat is also a temple of secrets. Entire sections remain closed off, sealed by collapsed passageways and restricted access. What lies in these forbidden sections? Some archaeologists suspect they conceal chambers that once stored sacred relics of the Khmer Empire, objects too holy or too dangerous to disturb. Others suggest Angkor's hidden sanctuaries contain clues about the sudden collapse of the civilization itself. And then there are the strange alignments. Angkor Wat isn't just architecture, it's astronomy carved in stone. From above, its layout mirrors the constellation Draco, its towers align with the solstices, its causeways with cosmic cycles. Some researchers argue that Angkor was built as a kind of star map, a bridge between heaven and earth. So what happens if the forbidden sanctuaries contain the missing pieces of that map? Knowledge so profound it could reveal how the ancients saw the universe, perhaps even technology we've long since forgotten? For now, those chambers remain silent, their secrets wrapped in stone and roots. And maybe that's where they are meant to stay. Because as history has shown, when the forbidden is uncovered too quickly, civilizations tremble. But Cambodia isn't the only place where temples are sealed away, not just by nature, but by law. For that, we journey west, across oceans and continents, to the rugged, holy land of Greece. Here lies Mount Athos, often called the Holy Mountain, rising above the Aegean Sea. It's not just one temple, but an entire peninsula of monasteries, some of them over 1,000 years old. But here's the twist. Mount Athos is forbidden not by walls or curses, but by decree. Since 1046, women have been strictly banned from setting foot on Mount Athos. In fact, even most men are not permitted beyond certain boundaries. Only monks, living in strict isolation, may enter its sacred monasteries. To this day, they guard their holy spaces from outsiders, preserving traditions that have remained unchanged for centuries. Why such strict rules? On the surface, it's about devotion. The monks believe the mountain belongs solely to the Virgin Mary, and no other woman should disturb its sanctity. But there are deeper whispers too. Some say the libraries of Mount Athos contain manuscripts so ancient, so powerful, that they could change the very fabric of Christianity. Texts hidden from the world, doctrines never revealed, histories that might not align with what we're taught. Could it be that the ban on outsiders is less about purity and more about protection? Protection not only of faith but of knowledge that could unravel it? Mount Athos is one of the last true forbidden temples of Europe. A living fortress of faith, secrecy, and silence. And yet, it connects us to something vital, that temples are not just stone, they are guardians. Guardians of wealth, of relics, of knowledge, of power. And whether by curses, jungles, deserts, or law, humanity has always found reasons to keep some temples locked away. But there are still more. Some even stranger, where the forbiddance reaches a level that feels less like faith and more like something otherworldly. Because what if some temples weren't built by human hands alone? What if the forbiddance marks not just divine protection, but alien intervention? For that answer, we must travel across the world again to places where the stones themselves defy explanation. Baalbek's megaliths and the alien mystery of Puma Punku in the heart of Lebanon. In the ancient city of Baalbek lies a temple complex that has baffled historians and engineers for centuries. Today, visitors walk among Roman columns, massive courtyards, and the crumbling ruins of what was once the Temple of Jupiter. But beneath the surface of this Roman facade is something far older and far more mysterious. At Baalbek lies the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, a single block of stone estimated to weigh over 1,000 tons. Nearby are even larger stones, some of the heaviest ever quarried by human hands lying half-buried in the ground. These stones were meant to form the foundation of a temple platform, yet their sheer size raises a terrifying question: how? Modern cranes struggle with stones a fraction of that weight. Yet thousands of years ago, someone not only carved these giants with precision, but moved them across uneven terrain. Roman builders later added their temples atop the site, but the platform of Cyclopean stones, was already there. Who built it? How did they move it? And why? Some believe Baalbek was originally a temple not to gods, but to the stars. A landing pad for celestial beings. The sheer scale, the astronomical alignments, the impossible stones, it all hints at knowledge beyond what ancient humans should have possessed. Which may explain why, even today, large parts of Baalbek remain restricted. Excavations are controlled, details withheld. What secrets lie beneath those massive stones, sealed away under the guise of preservation? It's not the first time humanity has stumbled upon temples that seem not entirely human. For that, we must journey to the windswept highlands of Bolivia, where the ruins of Puma Punku rest. At first glance, Puma Punku doesn't look like much. A field of scattered megaliths, toppled stones lying in fragments. But step closer and you realize these stones are unlike anything else on Earth, perfectly cut, laser-sharp edges. Blocks of granite and diorite, the hardest stones known, carved with such precision that they interlock like Lego pieces. Holes drilled with machine-like symmetry. Angles cut so exact they defy the tools of their supposed time. Archaeologists date Puma Punku to around 500 AD, built by the Tiwanaku culture. But skeptics ask, how could a pre-industrial society, without iron tools or wheels, shape and transport such stones? Some weigh up to 130 tons, hauled from quarries miles away. Even with today's technology, reconstructing Puma Punku would be a challenge. Which leads to the forbiddance question. Was Pumapunku built with knowledge passed down from an advanced civilization, or perhaps with help from beyond our world? Locals long believed the site was sacred. Legends say it was constructed in a single night by the gods themselves. Priests warned against disturbing its stones, treating it as a forbidden temple where human presence was an intrusion. Even now, the air around Pumapunku feels heavy, charged, as if the stones themselves remember something we do not. Like Baalbek, Pumapunku represents the impossible. Stones that should not exist. Temples that should not have been built. Knowledge humanity should not have had. And perhaps that is the true definition of a forbidden temple, not simply a place barred by doors or decrees, but one that confronts us with truths we are not prepared to face. Temples that whisper, "You are not the first. Others were here before you." As the waves whip across Pumapunku, scattering dust across the shattered blocks, one cannot help but wonder, did those who built these temples want us to find them, or to fear them? But our journey isn't over. Because while some forbidden temples defy physics, others hide their secrets deep within the earth itself. Buried not in myth, but in darkness places where even light hesitates to linger. And so our final path takes us underground to the most hidden sanctuaries of all. The subterranean forbiddens, Longyou Caves, Lascaux, and humanity's hidden legacy. Not all temples rise toward the heavens. Some are carved deep into the earth, swallowed by shadow, hidden from the sun. And often these are the most forbidden of all because to step inside them is to step into the unknown. In Zhejiang Province, China, lies a mystery that has baffled archaeologists for decades, the Longyou Caves. Discovered in 1992 by villagers draining a pond, these enormous caverns stretch over 30,000 square meters. Perfectly carved walls rise in sweeping patterns, each stroke methodical, as though etched by giant chisels. The ceilings soar as high as a 5-story building. And yet, despite their size, there is not a single historical record of their creation, no dynasty inscriptions. No legends, no traces of who carved them or why. Even stranger, the caves show no signs of being natural. They are entirely man-made, yet built with such precision that even today we cannot fully explain the engineering. To hollow out such massive spaces would have required removing nearly 1 million cubic meters of stone. And still, there are no piles of debris, no abandoned tools, no traces of labor. It's as if the caves simply appeared. Some believe the Longyou Caves were an underground temple complex, built for rituals we cannot comprehend. Others suggest they were meant to conceal something: knowledge, relics, maybe even people. Whatever the truth, the caves remain largely unexplored, many of their chambers sealed by water and time. And in that silence, they feel less like monuments of the past, and more like warnings carved into the bones of the earth. But China isn't alone in hiding its secrets underground. Thousands of miles away, in southern France, lies another forbidden place, the Lascaux Caves. At first glance, they don't seem like temples at all. But when you step inside, when your torchlight flickers across the walls, you realize you are standing in humanity's first sanctuaries. The Lascaux Caves are painted with thousands of figures: horses, bulls, deer, images drawn nearly 20,000 years ago. They are more than art. They are worship, ritual, a temple of pigment and shadow. For early humans, the caves were sacred spaces where the boundary between life and spirit blurred. But today they are forbidden. Since their discovery in 1940, Lascaux has been slowly destroyed by human breath, bacteria, and light. The paintings began to fade, to rot. So the caves were sealed, locked away from the public, preserved in darkness. Only scientists, in rare moments, may step inside. For the rest of us, the temple of the first artists, the first dreamers, remains forbidden forever. And maybe that is fitting. Because the caves remind us of something fragile, that some temples are not meant to endure human presence. That the act of entering is itself a kind of destruction. From India's sealed vaults to Japan's eternal shrine, from the desert chambers of Egypt to the alien stones of Bolivia, every forbidden temple tells us the same thing, that humanity has always built barriers around its greatest mysteries. Some locked with curses, some with laws, some with silence, some with stone. Why? Perhaps to protect treasures. Perhaps to guard knowledge, perhaps to shield us from truths we are not ready to face, or perhaps because some doors are not meant for us. The forbidden draws us because it promises revelation. But maybe the greatest revelation is that not all mysteries should be solved. Some temples must remain locked, their secrets untold, their chambers sealed in darkness. And so we end where we began, with a truth whispered across centuries. There are places we were never meant to enter. Places built not for us, but against us. Places where even gods might fear to tread. These are the forbidden temples humanity was never meant to enter.